Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live class in the membership program. Thank you for joining me for the live class in the membership program, all of you out there. It's a pleasure to have you with me. If you haven't been with me in the past, well, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Todd, and in our class today, we're going to be having a little discussion. We're going to be talking here, and we're going to be discussing family. We're going to be discussing family. So I hope all of you out there are ready to join me in a discussion about family and families. I'm ready to go here, so let's get into our talk and discussion about family. All right. So, what we're going to do in the class is I'm going to ask some questions, okay, and then I'll give you my personal answers to these questions. But I'd like all of you to think about the answers to these questions as they relate to you. Okay, so that's the idea of the class that we're partaking in right now. So the first question I have for all of you out there, it's actually a statement, and say, describe two of your family members. Describe two of your family members. Your family members, these may be your parents or your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandparents, uh, your uh, your extended family or whatever. Yes, describe two of your family members. Well, okay. I'll describe me. I'll describe my uncle. He's a quiet man. Generally quiet. He's a sports fan. He especially likes baseball. He is a baseball fan. He also likes some science programs. He's interested in some science. He also likes to spend time with his three sons, who are my three cousins. The the children of your aunts and your uncles are your cousins. And so he likes to spend time with his three sons, who are my cousins. So that's my uncle. And I'll describe my mother. My mother is well, she's small. She's a small lady, and she likes to talk. I think that's the number one thing I can say about my mother, is that she is very talkative. Talk, 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 talk. She likes to talk. Uh, she also uh, she also spends a lot of time with her church. She's very involved with her church and her friends there. And yeah, so that is that is my mother. Okay, so what about you? Go ahead and describe to yourself two of your family members. All right, now we'll move on from there. And I have another question for you, actually, two questions here. How many cousins do you have? How many cousins do you have, and how often do you see them or talk to them? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, me, I have three cousins. I mentioned that just a couple of minutes ago. I have three cousins. They're all boys. They're all men now. They're not boys, uh, yeah. So I have three cousins. And now I don't see them often at all, and I don't talk to them often at all. It's nothing where there's no hostility or any personal problems among us. We just don't I just haven't seen them for a while. We do occasionally keep in touch on Facebook, but one of my cousins now lives in Florida. He one lived in Iraq for quite a while, actually. He was involved in the military. And so, but yeah, we've kind of we say we've lost touch over the years. Uh, so I don't talk to them or see them often. But yeah, now you think about this. How many cousins, remember your cousins are the children, men, women, boys, or girls of your aunts and uncles. Okay, those are your cousins. And how many of those cousins do you have, and how often do you see them or talk to them? All right. Now, number three, how many of your grandparents were alive when you were born? And what is a special memory you have of them? How many of your grandparents were alive when you were born? And what is a special memory you have of them? Oh, wow. Well, all of my grandparents were alive when I was born. Your grandparents are the parents of your parents. Those are your grandparents. So your mother's mother is your grandmother. Your father's mother is also your grandmother. Your mother's father is your grandfather, and your father's father is also your grandfather. And they are your grandparents. All of my grandparents were alive when I was born, and I have many memories of my grandparents. We lived very close to my mother's parents. They basically lived in our backyard, or we lived in their backyard, and so walking distance. And yeah, many memories. My grandmother was she used to play the organ, so she liked music. She was also a great cook. My grandfather was a baker, so he liked to bake pies and cakes and bread and cookies and things like that. So and they were also very much involved in gardening. So they taught me a lot of things about gardening, growing plants and also vegetables. Yeah, vegetable gardens. So they were very enthusiastic about that. They taught me a lot about that. On my father's side, my father's parents, well, my grandmother, my father's mother, was also an excellent cook. I remember especially her lasagna. She made the world's best lasagna. I'm convinced of that. And yes, and they like to do things. Well, they like to read a lot, and they were also they like nature. They like to watch the birds. Uh, and yeah, so I remember bird watching with my father's parents. So yeah, okay, there you go. That's number three. Number four. How are things different today than they were when you were a child? How are things different today than they were when you were a child? Okay, everybody. How much time do you have, really? How much time do you have? Do you have a couple of days here where I could talk about this? No, no, no. Just kidding. We have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to try. I'll do my best to keep it short, but wow, there really are a lot of things different today than they were when I was a child. I'm looking at this picture in front of me of this young man, this boy on his bicycle. Yeah, this was common when I was a young man. We used to ride our bikes, and we were very physically active. We played all kinds of sports whenever we had the opportunity. We were out on our bikes. We were climbing trees. We were doing all kinds of. We spent a lot of time outdoors. Um, I don't think that's so common now. the young people today, I think at least where I live, they're more entranced with the technology. They like the video games, and they like to spend time with their phones, with their smartphones, their iPhones, etc. And you just don't see the activity. I think the physical activity nowadays that was so commonplace when I was much younger, when I was a boy. Also, of course, the I think generally education was much different. The schools, the things that we did at school were much different. We would do research projects, and we would have to go to the library, and we would, encyclopedias have to we would have to go to the library, check out encyclopedias, and do it. No, it's not common now. Now if you want information, you Google it. You Google it. And so, or you don't even have to do that. You just ask Siri a question, or or you use some kind of a voice technology, and ask the question, and wham, you got it. Or you use Chat GPT, and it's right there. So, a lot of different things I could talk about here, but like I said, we really must move on for purposes of time. But think about that for yourself. How are things different today than they were when you were a child? Now, moving on. Do you prefer big families or small families, and why? Do you prefer big families or small families? Why? Okay, well, again, I'll speak for myself. My family right now is very small, very small. Basically, it's my mother and I. Of course, I mentioned that I have an uncle and three cousins as well, but I'm not so close to them as I used to be. My mother and my uncle are still pretty close, but really, right now, my mother and I, that's our family, or that's my family. So it's very small. Um, uh, Years ago, it was somewhat larger, but it was never really a large family. Like I said, all my grandparents were alive when I was young, and my sister. But now it's a very small family. So uh, I prefer it that way, I guess. I prefer a small family, or because that's what I know. I guess I have nothing against big families. No, not at all. It just I'm accustomed to a small family, and yeah, so I'm okay with that. No problems here. But think about that for yourself. Do you prefer big families or small families? And what's your reason for your choice there of your preference? Number six, how often do you see your extended family? Your extended family. So your extended family would maybe be some of your nephews, your nieces, your cousins, maybe some aunts and uncles. Those would be more of your extended family. And I mentioned before, for me, I'll keep this one very short for all of you. I don't really have much of an extended family, and what extended family I do have, I don't see them often. So I'll keep that one short because I've already answered it. But think about that for yourself. How often do you see your extended family? By the way, sometimes you'll hear the expression nuclear family. Your nuclear family basically is your very close family members, your parents, your siblings. Your siblings refer to your brothers and your sisters. Siblings, brothers and sisters. Those would be your nuclear family. Maybe your grandparents also would be part of that nuclear family, your very close family members, as opposed to your extended family. Okay, your extended family would also include your in-laws, in-laws, your spouse's family. Now, your spouse would be your husband or your wife. Okay, so if you're a married man, your wife's family would be your in-laws. And if you're a woman, your husband's family would be your in-laws, and they would be part of your extended family as well. At least the way that a lot of people use that expression. Okay, all right. Now we're moving here. What's your best childhood memory? What's your best childhood memory? Oh, wow. I have a lot of good childhood memories. I really do. But okay, I'm looking at this picture as you are as well. And wow, I see these young children on the beach on the sand and they're eating watermelon. Watermelon is delicious in the warm weather, in the summer weather. But yeah, okay, I'll just say that my best childhood memory, or one of my best childhood memories, was I used to go every year to Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, with my grandparents, my father's parents, and my aunt and my uncle and my three cousins and my sister. We all went to St. Petersburg every year for 7 or 10 days. Ah, just excellent times. All of those vacations were great. We ate at nice restaurants. We stayed at nice hotels, and the weather. We had rain every day. It stormed every afternoon just for a brief period of time, and then the storm would go away, and it'd be very refreshing. But I just have so many memories about St. Petersburg, Florida. Every year, it was just a great time. So I'll throw that out. There is at least one of my best childhood memories. What about you? What about you? What are some of your best childhood memories? Your memories that you have of when you were a child, that time of when you were a child, your childhood. Number 8. Has your family ever had a family reunion? And if not, do you think a family reunion would be fun? Why or why not? Uh, yeah, this is a good question. Yes, I have been part of a family reunion. It was a long time ago, a long time ago. And I actually don't remember too much of it. But if I remember correctly, which I may not, I don't know, but if I do remember correctly, yeah, I had a good time. But yeah, I can't say too much about it, honestly. I can't say too much from personal experience. I remember attending one, being part of one, but I don't remember too much about it, actually. But would a family reunion be fun? Yeah, sure. I'm sure a family reunion would be and is, and family reunions are fun for a lot of families. They get together. Sometimes families come from all over the country to meet at a certain place and spend a vacation at a certain place together. And yeah, as long as the family gets along, everybody gets along well, everybody has a good relationship, because we know, unfortunately, sometimes family members, they don't get along so well. That's unfortunate, but hey, this is life. It happens, right? So in those circumstances, maybe not so fun, maybe very stressful, actually. But yeah, what about you though? Okay, what about you? Have you ever participated in a family reunion? And if you haven't, what do you think? Would it be fun to participate in one? All right. Uh, Number 9 here. Have you done any research on your family tree? Do you know which country or countries your ancestors were from? Research on your family tree. You know, this is something that a lot of people really enjoy doing now. I don't know. A lot of people, they really enjoy tracing their family history and doing research in that area. Uh, I've never done extensive research on my family tree, so I know very little, except I know that, like many people here in the United States of America, I come from a German and Irish ancestry background. That's very common. We have a lot of people from Germany here in the United States, also a lot of people from Ireland here in the United States. And as a result, we have a lot of beer here in the United States, a lot of beer fans, beer drinkers here in the United States. But yeah, so my grandfather came from Germany when he was a very young boy. He was if I remember correctly, he was 14 years old when he came here on a boat, and he attempted to teach me German when I was young. I He taught me how to count the 10 in German. But you know, it's funny because when I think about this, English is a Germanic language. It's an Anglo-Saxon language, and it's part of the German family tree. So supposedly, German is uh, English is very closely related to German. But to me, German is a difficult language. German is a difficult language. The sounds in there, very strong sounds, and yeah, German was not. It was not easy for my grandfather to try to teach me German. I remember, but I did learn to count to 10, and I learned a little bit, but I don't. I remember now how to count to 10. I think I can do that, but I don't remember much else. But anyway, my grandparents were from German, and my mother's mother was from Ireland. But hey, what about you? Have you ever done any research on your family tree, traced your genealogy? And do you know which country or countries your ancestors were from? Number 10. Do you have any family members living in other states or countries? Do you have any family members living in other states or countries? Yeah, I mentioned before that I I have a cousin. He lives in Florida, um, and he had lived for some years in Iraq because he served in Iraq in the military for quite a while. But he is back in the country. He's been back in the country for a couple years now, and he currently lives in Florida. But yeah, that's all. My mother lives here where I live, and yeah. So, but hey, what about you? Do you have family members living in other states or possibly even in other countries? What about you? All right. Now, a few more discussion questions here. Which of your cousins did you see most often as a child? Which of your cousins did you see most often as a child? I saw, well, my three cousins, I saw them all most frequently because they were all brothers. And when I saw one, I saw them all. And we spent a lot of time together. Actually, we were all pretty good friends. We played sports together, a lot of baseball, a lot of a game called pickle. We played a lot of pickle, and we used to play some video games, some very old type of video games together. You know, Asteroids. Anybody out there remember Asteroids? And Donkey Kong. Actually, I think this was before Donkey Kong, but we used to play some video games and sports and go to baseball games. They were all big baseball fans, and I was at the time also. So, yeah, but I saw them all equally often because when I saw one, I saw them all. So, what about you? Number two, what's your funniest childhood memory? What's your funniest, the most humorous childhood memory? Oh, I had to think about this. Anything funny? I have a lot of fun childhood memories, a lot of things that I did as a child that were fun, but funny. Well, yeah, sure. I had uh I had a couple neighbors. One in particular, one neighbor that I had, he was a little bit older than I was. He was a couple years older than I was, but we used to play. We used to play sports together. We were close friends, and we used to play a lot of wiffle ball. Wiffle ball was the big sport that we play in the summer. And wiffle ball is a game like baseball. It's like baseball, except you play with a plastic bat and a plastic ball. But we used to play a lot of this in the summer. And this guy, oh, and we were both hockey fans also. We used to like to watch hockey on TV, and we would play this board hockey game. But anyway, this guy, I just remember he was funny. He used to just make me laugh. He was a couple years older than I was, but and we were also music fans. We used to listen to music together, but he just had a sense of humor. I don't know. He just used to make me laugh. So a lot of good times with him and with my other neighbors, all around the same age as I was. We laughed a lot with this guy in particular. So, what about you? You have funny childhood memories. Funny meaning something that makes you laugh. Something that makes you laugh. Number three, if you could live again a year of your childhood, which year would it be and why would you choose that year? If you could relive a year of your childhood, which year would it be? Okay, well, I don't know if you would call this a childhood year, but I would have to. I think one of the best years of my life was 1986. 1986 was the year I graduated from high school. Really fun year. I remember just a lot of social activities, a lot of music. Oh my gosh, a lot of music. Just looking forward to graduating high school, and yeah, it was a fun year. 1984 was also I think a good year. A couple years before that, just again, I remember my some of my music experiences, going to concerts and things like that. So yeah, in that area, 1984 to 1986. I can't say I was really a child. I was a teenager, but yeah. What about you? If you could relive a year of your childhood or just say a year of your life, how about that? Which year would it be? Why would you choose that year? Number four, what was your favorite pastime that you did with your family when you were a child? Your favorite pastime, your favorite activity that you did in your spare time or your leisure time that you did with your family? Oh, a lot of things. I used to play a lot of games, board games with my mother and with my sister. We used to put together a lot of jigsaw puzzles. Put jigsaw puzzles together. We used to play Scrabble. Scrabble was one of our favorite games. I used to play a lot of chess with my father. My mother never learned to play chess, but my father and I played a lot of chess. And I also used to love to go fishing. I used to love to go fishing, and I went fishing with my father. And I also went fishing with my neighbor friends. We used to do that a lot. So those were, and of course, as I've mentioned, like to play a lot of the different sports in the neighborhood with the kids in the neighborhood. We played a lot of sports, especially in the summertime during summer vacation. Number five, in your opinion, do you think that families in the future will be bigger or smaller? Why? Yeah, here, in my opinion, I think families will be smaller. I think families will be smaller. We have a lot of people here, at least in the United States, and I don't think it's only in the United States, but we have here in the United States, we call them DINCs, DINC S. It's an acronym for double income, no children. Double income, no children. This is a life choice for married couples where they decide, no, I really don't want uh, I really don't want children. And a lot of them don't want to bring children into the world because the perception is the world's a little crazy, right? And it is crazy. Come on. The world is crazy. But so it's an intentional thing by a lot of parents. They don't want children. Um, it's better for them each to have their own career, and that way they can have a double income. And with that double income, they can use that money for different things, travel and and different things. So that's their personal choice, and that's very common. So, my opinion, I think families in the future will be smaller. But what do you think? What do you think about that? And number six, going to try and get to this very quickly here. What was your favorite holiday to celebrate with your family as a child? What was your favorite holiday to celebrate with your family as a child? I have to throw out Thanksgiving. Okay, Thanksgiving is a holiday here in the United States of America. Used to spend it with my grandparents, my mother's parents, and my as I mentioned, my mother's mother was a fabulous cook, and she was also a musician. She liked to play the organ, and so we always had a blast. That's an expression. We had a blast. It means we had a really good time on Thanksgiving when I was a child. And so, yeah, that was, I think, my favorite holiday to celebrate with the family as a child. Of course, Christmas was always great as a child because, come on, you get up in the morning and there are all the presents from Santa Claus under the Christmas tree. And yeah, that was always a great occasion also. So Christmas is right up there with them. But yeah. All right, everybody. Hey, I'm going to have to wrap this up right now. But thank you again for joining me in this discussion about our families. And thank you not only for your attendance, thank you for that, of course, but thank you for your attention. And know that I will definitely be looking forward to seeing you all again next time. In the meantime, you know definitely that I'm wishing you all a wonderful remainder of your day. Bye-bye.